Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Fatih. Today's topic is going to be basically on how to become an animator. And I know like everyone has a different journey when they're becoming an animator or on their path to becoming an animator. So I just wanted to make a video for aspiring animators, junior animators, or anyone that's interested in finding out what the path is to becoming an animator. There's no straight routes. There's no like let's go from A to B and then you become an animator. Everyone goes through different trials and tribulations, and there's different routes as well. So the typical route I would say that a lot of people tend to go for is usually the academic route, which is, go to college. In college, you study some sort of an animation or a creative course. After that, you go to university. I mean, university is generally around 3 years. If you do a master's, that's a 4-year course. And at the end of it, you get your diploma. But I would say universities aren't really, even though I've done the university myself, they generally give you a generalized overview of what animation is. So, for example, if you studied or you want to be a 3D animator and you've taken a 3D animation course, you would potentially be learning about rigging, modeling, lighting, texturing, and animation bits and pieces. But it would be from a lecturer who, you know, maybe has worked in the industry for a few years and then come back to lecture, work as an instructor or a teacher at university. But it wouldn't specifically be from a professional animator or, that's got extensive knowledge and experience working in the industry for years and years, which I think is more valuable, even though universities do have their, positives. That route, the academic route, going through university is one small, two downsides to me in my perspective is the very heavy tuition fee that you have to pay for and the duration it takes for you to actually complete the course. Because there's short courses out there which I'll get onto a little bit later on, but 3 years is a long time. Let's be honest. 3 years, and at the end of 3 years, coming out with a very big loan, and if it doesn't work out exactly how you expected, or you didn't get the results you wanted, it can be not the most positive end, I guess, but like it does have a lot of positives. You will be in a campus, like where you'll be speaking to your instructor or lecturers face to face. You've got other students around you. So you got this like nice support system to help you. Um, it's just like the for me at least, the fee and the how long it takes to complete the course is the only downside for me. But it does have positives, university provides you with like the facilities in the campus. You get all your hardwares and softwares given to you, obviously provided by the tuition fees that you've paid. But yeah, I think it's a decent route. It's not it's what used to be before, like the go-to, go to secondary school or like high school, I guess, in America, and then you go to college and then you go to university and then you get your job. That was like the traditional route. However, there's much more different routes nowadays, and we'll get onto that just in a bit. So that was the first route, and the second route is that's generally for whether you're doing 2D, 3D animation, or even stop motion. So I'll talk about the routes first, and I'll talk about like what decisions you want afterwards. Um, so that was the academic route. The second route is if you want to still learn from a sort of institutional um, education center or like a there's other ways of doing that. So it's somewhere in between a university and learning independently. And those would come to like the online schools, the animation mentors, the anim schools, the iAnimates, and all the other online animation schools where you learn from specialized artists. So it could be an environment artist, a animator, which is, to become an animator, so you're actually learning from professional animators from DreamWorks, Pixar, Disney, MPC, Framestore, all these like top places that you hopefully would like to go to. And you're actually learning from these instructors in a structured university-like education learning path. So, and not only is this really good, but you learn from it remotely from the comfort of your own home. So I think this is really good actually, and a lot of it's moved. I would say this is the most favorable one compared to all the routes. Learning from a school where you have an abundance of instructors to pick from. Each has their own different time slots for you to learn from, which is really great because, if you were to go to like if a university campus or a remote university institution was to be halfway across the world and they were offering remote options, but however, if they're in Japan and you're in London, when they start their day, you're kind of like a day behind, and you're also like, it's time for you to go sleep. So those hours kind of like collide and don't really work with what your learning hours actually. But on the positive side, like there's a lot of positives from learning from online animation school. The fees are much more you know, generous, like not generous. The fees are much more suitable compared to universities. Universities come out with a big loan, whereas these online schools, not only do you learn from a specialist, but you also get what's the word? The fee's very acceptable. It's a good size fee to pay for learning from an online animation school. The school also provides you with rigs. It also provides you with the software licenses. So you basically have all you need to do to get started to learning this, starting your journey as an animator. And they also have all these classes that go from like, beginner to mid-range to experienced and more detailed stuff. Like you probably start learning like the bouncing ball and the principles of animation, and then you do some more body mechanics, like start leveling up, and then finally go into acting and like facial features and all that kind of stuff. So the school will generally judge your skill level before they assign you the class and a workshop and instructor they think is best fit for you. So I think this is really good. Like, I mean, I'm currently teaching at Anim School. I'm not promoting them or I'm not sponsored by them, but it you learn so much so quickly. And like I said as well, I think the whole course is maybe like uh, each term, I think, is 2.5 months. So imagine, I think, what you would do in university for 3 years, you could potentially drop that down to maybe a year and a bit. So not only are you learning from a really skilled professional or professionals, you're also like reducing the amount of costs and also reducing the amount of time. So it's honestly like a win-win. So yeah, that's like the second route. So the first one's universities. Second one is learning from an online animation school. The third one would be learning from a private instructor. So rather than learning from the school itself, if you're in contact with one of the instructors at the school, or if you're in contact with a professional from the industry that you've maybe come into contact through an event, through maybe online, you've reached out to them and they were happy enough to give you some feedback and you really got along with the way they're giving you feedback. You've made this connection where because don't forget, guys, everyone learns at a different pace and in a different style. And some people might be a little bit slower, some people might be a bit faster, but it's just a matter of time before you catch up and get really well at what you're doing. And maybe the instructor that you're going to be learning from is more suited, their teaching style is more suited to your development. So like I said, the third option is rather than learning from a specialized instructor from the school, you'll be learning from them one-on-one, because you've obviously like maybe got into contact with them. You've had a few feedbacks that has worked in your favor, and you enjoy their teaching method, and you feel comfortable learning from them, and you've seen progress learning from them. So it could be a case where you come to some sort of an agreement, and take private mentorships or animation classes from this instructor if he or she's not already providing this online. So, for example, I have my own YouTube channel, which obviously you're watching here. I provide animation mentorships for students outside of the school, uh, and I cater and tailor my classes and workshops specifically to my students. So that way, I know what to expect, they know what to expect, and I draw out a plan for them to learn and improve on what they already have learned from me. So yeah, so I have students reaching out to me from online as well, saying, asking if I'm willing to offer or open to offering classes, workshops, courses, and yeah, this might be some sort of an opportunity for you. Maybe like to reach out to either me or other instructors, or if this is the kind of style that you want to learn from as well. So the third one is just learning privately from an instructor from the industry that you like their work, whether it's whether he or she is working in a specific field, whether it's VFX, games, uh, feature animation, commercials, TV, and you really like their style or their teaching method, and you want to learn from them, that would be the third option. And so not only are you going to be learning from the instructor that you want to be learning from, and that you aspire to be like, but at the same time, I would the price of learning from an instructor directly as opposed to an online school would be slightly cheaper as well. So that way, it's like a win-win. You get the instructor you want to learn from, and also you get the fees are more it's more suitable for you as well. The only thing I would say over here is unless the instructor has his or her own rigs, they won't be provided to you. So you probably have to bring your own rigs. And yeah, you just need a laptop, internet connection, and a Maya software to just get started on your because the most important thing from private animation instructor is the feedback you get from them to help improve your shot. That is the most valuable piece of you know information and learning that you'll be getting from them. And finally, last but not least, the third part is self-taught. Now, this really works well for some people. I know people in the industry, animators in the industry, that have never got an education in animation. They've just picked up Maya, they started to learn on their own, moved some things in Maya around, and eventually things started to click. They studied real life, they studied animation, they studied films, how the body works, and movement and motion and all that stuff. And it's worked for them. They've not had to pay anything. They've not had to learn from anyone, which is great. However, it, it can it can vary on the person learning. So you might not have to pay anything, but that journey that you're taking might either be way longer than you need to or is needed. But on the upside, there's no expenses. It's all completely at your own disposal. Like it's completely at your learning speed is going to be completely based on you. And that might mean that you might not need that much guidance. Therefore, just reading a book or finding materials online will be sufficient enough for you, which is amazing if that's the case. That means you don't have to pay anything. You can learn in your own time. The only thing with this is if you're not strict or like don't stick to a schedule, maybe it might be the case that things can just drift off and it's a year and a half, 2 years maybe, and you don't have this professional input from the outside telling you, hey, I think we need to improve on these areas, because it's always great to have a fresh pair of eyes from the industry that can point out and help you in your development. And not only just like point out the areas you need to improve, but also make sure that you're aware of all the areas that you are improving. And like, it's a sigh of relief sometimes just to let hey, the stuff that I've been working on is paying off. It's making sense. It's clicking. That's quite important as well. So yeah, that's kind of like the routes, guys. The first one was learning from university, the traditional route. There's really good courses out there as well. Just if that's what you want to do, just make sure you really take a look and find the schools that have some really nice show reels or the universities. The second one is the online animation schools, and they're generally the Animation Mentor, Anim School, I Animate, and there are a couple floating around as well. So, but those three are generally the main three big ones, I think. So take a look at that if that's what you're interested in. Like these routes are all for if you're interested in becoming an animator, even though they do have some small courses for like lighting, rendering, texturing, but it's predominantly animation. The third route, like I said, is learning from a private mentor or an instructor. So if you have an industry professional that you want to work with or learn from, that you've seen online, you've loved their show reel, or you just have seen their YouTube page and you feel very comfortable, or that you feel very comfortable in approaching them, that you like their style of teaching from the tutorials that they've done. Um, yeah, feel free to reach out to them, whoever they may be. That will be the third option, one-on-one as opposed to in a classroom setting. And the final option is obviously use online footage, resources and materials to just learn on your own. So yeah, universities, online schools, private mentor, or self-taught. So those are the four routes to becoming to learning to become an animator. If there's another one, just let me know in the comments. That's all I know. That's four routes, unless you get beamed up into space and you come down with animation knowledge. I don't know. Maybe there is that. So those are the routes to becoming an animator. And when you are, like even though I'm predominantly my channel is for CG animation, really consider what kind of animation you want to do as well. Is it CG? Is it 2D? And is it stop motion? Those are three predominantly the main three animation styles. And I would say overwhelmingly CG is the one that's out there. There is definitely a lot of 2D as well. You would have some studios and some like um places that do stop motion as well. But as you're all aware, 2D animation is pencil and paper, so it's loads of drawings, 24 frames of drawings that create 1 second of animation. So if you're really into like you love drawing and you want to create animation through multiple images, then 2D animation is definitely going to be the path for you. 3D animation, obviously CG animation is basically a modeled rig or a puppet inside of a computer that you'll be moving with your mouse or Wacom tablet. See, stuff like this, just drawing on top of that. And it'll be inside of a animation software where you'll, again, it kind of follows the same principles, where it's 24 frames per second. You'll be creating 24 images or like motion to create 1 second of animation. And yeah, these are stuff like Nemo, Incredibles, Tangled, that kind of Kung Fu Panda kind of animation. Whereas the 2D is more the old Lion Kings and Pinocchios and all that stuff from Disney. And finally, stop motion animation. If you're really interested in that kind of animation, which mainly is done by Aardman and Leica, it's going to be you moving a puppet. Hmm. It's going to be you moving a puppet on a small miniature film set with lighting and everything like this. Nothing moves, and you'll just be nothing moves in the sense that it's a real miniature film set. So, which is super cool actually. And if that's the kind of path you want to take, yeah, I'd say really look into it, and you'll be moving the puppet bit by bit, every single frame, taking a picture until you create the motion you want to create. But I mean, I can have another video of this doing a deep dive into what we just discussed, but I just wanted to have a little chat with you guys and just show the options of what routes you can take to becoming an animator. Yeah, any questions you have, just basically put into the comments. Any questions you had, anything that I mentioned that I missed that you'd like to hear more, so I could do a part two for this and just talk more of those routes that have been taken. I can maybe have a video. I probably will have a video of my route, maybe on a live stream where you guys can actually interact and chat to me as well. Yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Yeah, thank you.